The most famous king in Britain wasn't Henry VIII, wasn't even Edward I. It's King Arthur, and yet there's naturally no proof he ever really existed. It's honestly true. The most famous king of the Britons, Arthur, Pendragon, may not actually have ever been real. Historians have been searching for over 1,000 years for proof of his very existence. They've looked for the Round Table, they've tried to find Camelot, and they found nothing. Arthur actually lived around about the 5th century. We call him a king, but he was actually a warlord. He was a Celt who was fighting against invading Anglo-Saxons, and he isn't actually mentioned by anybody until AD 830. The first mentions of Arthur are by a guy from Wales called Nennius, and he talks about 12 battles that Arthur personally took part in. Now bear in mind, he says 330 years after the fact, and he talks about a battle called Badon. And he says that at that one battle alone, Arthur killed 960 men. So, as a historian, I'm thinking that is slightly sketchy. It's secondary information, and it sounds as if they're making up the facts as they go. As well as mentions only happening 330 years plus after he's supposed to have lived and died. No historian in the last 1,000 years has found evidence of Camelot. They haven't found evidence of Excalibur the sword, the Lady in the Lake. They haven't found a round table that's actually truly from the time, but that's another story I'll tell you about another time. The other reason that I am very skeptical about whether or not Arthur lived, and believe me, I want to believe that he really truly existed more than anybody, because I love all our medieval stuff and Guinevere and Lancelot and all the romance that goes with it. But maybe that's just what it was, because in the 5th century again, there was a guy called Gildas who wrote about the Battle of Badon. Do you remember? We just discussed that. And not once does he mention Arthur. So why are you writing about things that happened and not including the hero of the tale? Maybe it's because he didn't exist. So going back to what I just said about romance and passion and fighting and chivalry and all the knights of the Round Table, all of that comes around in the writings of a guy called Geoffrey of Monmouth in the 12th century. Geoffrey wrote a cracking book called History of the Kings of Britain, and in it, this is where we get all of the tales of Arthur that we get to know and love. We hear about Tintagel, which is also known as Camelot, his great castle, and Merlin, his magician, and his Knights of the Round Table. So it's Geoffrey of Monmouth that really begins to flesh out the history of Arthur. He's turned up 700 years later. So what are the chances that this might be slightly more embellished as well? A little bit of evidence there from me. What are your thoughts? Did Arthur, Pendragon, owner of Excalibur, king, overseer of the Knights of the Round Table, an all-round British hero, exist, or is he a figment of our imagination? Is possibly the greatest king that ever lived actually not fact but fiction? Let me know in the comment box below. If histories and mysteries are your thing, then please subscribe to this channel. As I've already said, we need to talk about the Round Table, and there is so much more from history that we are going to cover. So subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.